Okay, let's unpack this. You know that feeling, that sense you get when you're trying to figure out exactly what's happening, where the real action is, maybe even where the opportunities are hiding. Sometimes it feels a bit like, looking for the TV remote at somewhere, and you just need the key to get a handle on things.
Right, the key to the power moves, perhaps.
Exactly. Well, today, we think we've got a key. It unlocks a look inside a really buzzing ecosystem. For this deep dive, we're digging into the latest newsletter from BongoHive.
BongoHive, yeah, the innovation and entrepreneurship hub. We hear a lot about them.
We do. So think of this as your shortcut, your way to quickly see the whole picture they've just laid out in their update. Our mission today, pretty simple actually. We're going to pull out the sharpest insights, the most important signals from this newsletter. We want to give you a clear understanding of the power moves and the progress happening in their world right now.
And that covers quite a range, doesn't it? From high-level stuff like government collaboration.
All the way down to specific, practical opportunities you might actually want to know about for yourself or your business.
Yeah, the newsletter touches on quite a mix. I saw mentions of mining tech, youth programs, co-working spaces, even specific courses in AI trends. It seems like a snapshot of a very active scene.
It really does. So let's dive right in with something that signals, I think, significant momentum,
Hmm.
a high-profile visit. The newsletter highlighted Mr. Jito Kayumba paid a visit. He's the special assistant to the president for finance and investment.
Okay, that's definitely noteworthy. And where did this happen?
That's the interesting part. It was right during the MindTech Accelerator cocktail event.
So his presence there at an event focused specifically on mining technology startups, that's probably not just a casual drop-in.
Exactly. The newsletter points out that Mr. Kayumba used the opportunity to uh, explicitly underscore the government's view on the value of innovation, entrepreneurship, and crucially public-private collaboration.
As essential drivers for Zambia's economic growth, I imagine.
Precisely. And he specifically commended BongoHive's role in all of this. What really stands out is how this visit signals, a clear alignment at the policy level.
Right. It makes that government backing very visible, tying it directly to innovation hubs like BongoHive. It feels like a key moment of recognition for the sector's importance.
That's the view from the top, you could say. Now let's see what's happening more on the ground with some of their key programs. The newsletter gives us an update on the Timbuktu MindTech Accelerator Bootcamp.
Okay, Timbuktu MindTech. What's the status there?
It's currently underway. They've got a cohort of 10 African startups, and they're all focused on exploring frontier tech solutions, specifically designed for the mining sector. And they detailed a really practical part of this program. The cohort actually visited the Kanzanshi mine in Solwezi. First Quantum Minerals hosted them.
Oh, wow. Getting startups focused on mining tech onto an actual working mine site, that must be incredibly valuable, right?
You'd think so. Seems like an absolute must.
Absolutely. I mean, that kind of hands-on experience, the site tours, seeing the operations firsthand, it offers invaluable industry exposure. It moves innovation beyond just, theoretical concepts in a lab.
Right, it forces them to confront the real-world friction points their tech needs to solve.
Exactly. Understanding the actual environment, the challenges on the ground, that's critical if you want to develop relevant and, impactful solutions for the mining industry.
Okay, switching gears a bit, there's another major initiative mentioned, the youth-led MSME Empowerment Program.
Yes, the MSME program. Where is that at?
Well, the newsletter reports it just finished its in-person training phase in Kitwe.
Yeah.
Now it's moving into the really crucial next stage, mentorship and pitch preparation.
Okay, and this program, it's quite significant in scale, isn't it?
It is. It's led by UNDP Zambia and the Ministry of Youth, Sport, and Arts, with BongoHive actually implementing it.
Yeah.
And it's supporting a substantial number, 200 youth-led MSMEs.
200, wow. And they're drawn from different cities?
Yeah, not just Lusaka. Participants are from Livingston, Kitwe, and Lusaka. And the big goal, the really exciting part mentioned, is helping these businesses grow and significantly positioning them to access regional markets.
Under the FCFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Area, that's ambitious.
It is, and it raises that interesting challenge, doesn't it? How do you really empower young entrepreneurs not just to start, but to actually scale their businesses beyond local borders? This program seems designed to tackle that head on.
So it provides a pathway. What's the immediate next step for these 200 entrepreneurs after the mentorship phase?
The newsletter mentions virtual mentorship, which makes sense given the geographical spread, right?
Yeah.
Leading up to a pitch competition that's scheduled to happen in Lusaka.
Right, the pitch competition. And usually There's quite a bit riding on those.
Definitely. The newsletter says it's more than just practice. It offers tangible next steps. We're talking grants, vital linkages with investors, and ongoing business support.
Okay, so if you look at the structure they've set up, it seems that pitch competition acts as a critical funneling point. It's designed to channel resources and further support to the ventures that are judged most market ready.
Yeah, it creates a deliberate, kind of structured selection process to accelerate the most promising ones.
Makes sense.
Now, a lot of the activity we've discussed, like that VIP visit, the networking,
Yeah.
it happens within BongoHive's own physical space, the Hive co-working space.
Right, the physical hub itself. How does the newsletter describe its role?
Well, it describes it not just as, offices, but as a hub actively fueling innovation and collaboration in Lusaka.
Hmm?
And go back to Mr. Kayumba's comments.
He mentioned the space specifically.
He did. He highlighted it as a key player in Zambia's journey toward inclusive economic growth. So it's positioned as more than just infrastructure.
It's intended to be a central nexus, a connection point for the entrepreneurial community, for idea generation and the practical work of building businesses.
Exactly. And speaking of the practical, the newsletter includes a very immediate opportunity related to the space itself. They're hot deals for winter.
Ah, a discount offer.
Yeah. So if you're in Lusaka and you actually need a place to work or maybe host an event, this is directly relevant. They're offering 15% off event space bookings.
Okay.
And also 15% off your first month on a flexible hot desk plan. But that's if you book for 3 months or more. It's a direct incentive they're highlighting to use their facilities.
Good to know. Useful for people on the ground there.
But the support and opportunities, they don't stop at the physical location, right?
Yeah.
The newsletter also showcases a whole host of other resources and programs available. Let's maybe quickly touch on a few of these.
Okay. What else caught your eye?
Well, there's this interesting collaboration, BongoHive X Notion for startups.
Notion, the productivity tool.
Yeah. Startups in their network can get 6 months of Notion business, including Notion AI, completely free.
That's pretty valuable. Notion's quite powerful for managing projects, documents, team knowledge, all that stuff.
Exactly. And as they note, it helps manage everything in one place. For early-stage businesses, getting robust tools like that for free is a significant boost, right?
Yeah.
Helps with productivity and collaboration from day one.
Definitely a good offer. What else?
They also highlighted a human-centered design course. This was a collaboration with UN Alios, and it comes with Acumen certification.
Human-centered design. So focusing on the end user.
Precisely. The focus is on teaching practical skills to create solutions that are genuinely user-focused, with a strong emphasis on community needs.
And who is that aimed at?
The target audience seems quite broad, actually. They list entrepreneurs, creatives, NGOs, even change makers within the public sector. Basically, anyone who needs to build solutions that really resonate with the people they're trying to serve.
Okay, sounds useful across different fields.
And looking towards the future generation, they mentioned Robotics Cohort 3.
Robotics. Tell me more.
It's a tech program specifically for a very young audience, kids aged 6 to 18. The newsletter points out they learn practical tech skills, things like building robots, coding games, coding apps.
So equipping them with those essential 21st century skills early on.
Yeah, and they give the specifics. It runs every Saturday from May 31st to July 19th, 2025, and is hosted right there at the Hive co-working space in Lusaka.
Interesting. That focus on building tech literacy from such a young age, it's a notable investment in the future talent pipeline, isn't it?
Definitely feels like it. Now, beyond BongoHive's own programs, the newsletter also made a point to highlight events hosted at the Hive by community members.
Ah, so showcasing the space as a platform for the wider ecosystem.
Exactly. One example they gave is the Do It Experience 2 event.
Do it experience. What's the focus there?
This one seems very practical too. Building a personal brand, content creation, and learning how to actually monetize those skills.
Okay, very relevant skills today. Did they give details?
They did. July 5th, 2025, from 2:00 p.m. to 4:00 p.m. There's a fee of K350. And they named the key organizers: Mwaka Souza, Florence Jedediah Mulenga, and Chipepo Firi.
Right.
And they also made a point of noting that seats are very limited.
To just high demand for that kind of focused, practical training. Good for them.
Now, the newsletter isn't just about programs and opportunities. It also shares insights through content. They mentioned their own podcast, A Seat at the Table.
Yes, I've heard of that one. Did they feature a specific episode?
They did. A recent one with Jenna Nyambi, who's the MD and CEO of Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank.
Oh, interesting guest. What were the key takeaways?
Well, the newsletter pulled out lessons from her 25-plus years in banking, insights into leadership, particularly leadership rooted in humility, integrity, and thinking about legacy.
Important themes.
Yeah, and they even included a powerful quote directly from her. Be yourself. You can never be anybody else.
Simple but profound advice.
It is. And interestingly, this episode was actually filmed right there in the BongoHive co-working space.
So reinforcing how the physical space also acts as a generator of content and community stories. Neat.
Something else they highlighted, which is kind of cool and shows them using tech themselves. They've produced an AI-generated audio version of the newsletter.
Oh, really? So you can listen to the newsletter update.
Yeah. Why is that cool? Well, it shows they're not just talking about tech trends like AI. They're actively experimenting with practical applications to improve their own communication.
Makes it more accessible, right? Using Google's AI voice means you can consume the info while commuting or doing other things.
Exactly. Makes it easier for their audience to stay informed. It's a small thing, but pretty smart.
Yeah, it's a practical use of AI. What other content did they feature?
They also featured a recurring piece called Last Week in AI, written by their technical lead, Malobwa Chungu.
Okay, tracking the AI landscape. What did he cover?
His article covered major AI releases and trends from the big global players, OpenAI, Google, Mistral, Midjourney, that crowd.
And what were the main takeaways highlighted?
The takeaways pointed towards a future heavily influenced by multimodal AI models.
That's AI handling text, images, audio all together.
Right. And also AI-first platforms and just automation at scale generally. But what's significant is they added a note saying they also offer tailored AI solutions through their consulting arm.
So they're not just reporting on the global AI scene, but actively involved in applying these techs locally for businesses, connecting the dots.
Exactly. And then finally, under their Buzzing Insights section, they included a piece focusing on emerging student startups.
Student startups gaining traction. What's the key point there?
The key point is really encouraging, actually. It's that student-founded ventures are moving beyond just academic projects. They're gaining serious traction by actively developing solutions to real-world problems.
Like what kind of problems?
The newsletter cited examples like tackling agricultural inefficiency, improving educational access, illustrating how these young entrepreneurs are using tech and their innovative perspectives to make tangible impacts.
So it highlights young Zambians not just preparing for the future, but actively shaping it right now. That's powerful.
It really is. And they also gave a quick mention to their entrepreneur resource portal, just as a general resource available for Zambian entrepreneurs, listing examples like tools for funding info, budgeting, networking contacts, a central place for practical support.
Okay, so if we try and connect all these different threads, just from this one newsletter, you've got the government's visible endorsement, specific accelerators in key sectors like mining.
The large-scale youth empowerment program aiming for regional markets, the co-working space acting as a central node.
Then all those diverse opportunities, from software access to coding for kids, the community events, the content sharing insights on leadership and cutting-edge tech like AI.
It really paints a compelling picture, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's a view into a dynamic ecosystem that's actively building, learning, and connecting. Across various sectors, across different age groups, there's a clear, deliberate drive towards innovation-led growth happening there, and it seems supported at multiple levels.
And that's precisely why diving into this newsletter matters for you listening. Whether you're maybe thinking about starting a business, or you're actively trying to grow one.
Or perhaps you're looking for new skills through specific courses, or even if you're just curious about where and how innovation is taking root and making a real impact.
This snapshot really shows the many entry points and initiatives available just within this one hub. It demonstrates the activity isn't just theoretical, it's happening now. There's structured support and tangible opportunities.
Yeah, it feels very grounded in action.
So, wrapping up this deep dive into the BongoHive newsletter, it really gives us a window into a vibrant community, one that's actively fostering entrepreneurship and strategically using technology across different sectors and age groups in Zambia.
It's a clear snapshot of an ecosystem that feels genuinely alive with purposeful activity, all aimed at building the future.
Definitely. A lot going on.
And it leaves me with a thought, maybe something for you, the listener, to consider. Given that distinct emphasis we saw throughout the newsletter, supporting young people through programs like the MSME initiative, directly teaching tech skills to kids via robotics, specifically highlighting the rise of student-led ventures solving real problems.
That consistent focus on nurturing innovation and entrepreneurial spirit from the youngest age. It feels like a very significant, deliberate strategy.
Exactly. So, what does this approach really tell us about the potential trajectory of Zambia's future economy and its capacity for homegrown problem solving? Could this intense focus on empowering youth through technology and entrepreneurship actually serve as a powerful model for other regions looking to build resilient, innovative economies?
Hmm, that's a really interesting question to ponder. A potential model in the making.
Perhaps something to keep in mind as you observe developments in the space.
Definitely food for thought. Stay curious.